Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Excited to bring you our real estate topic today. Got a good show for you. Hope everybody's having an amazing weekend. And it's May. It's officially May. Kiddos are getting out of school in just a matter of weeks. It is so hard to believe. It's hard to believe we're going to 5 months of the year. Time flies. And I got a good show for you. We're talking about stay or sell. Making the right housing decision as you age. And we're talking about time, how this year's gone by. And then we're kind of getting into the show. We're talking about next 5 or 10 years. Where do you want to be? Where do you position yourself? And I don't care what your age is. This kind of hits close to home. Even I was looking at the topic and going, where would you be in 10 years? Kind of scary. Watching the kiddos get big, some graduating, some that were babies, now they're graduating college. Right, UT. Just talked to a great guy yesterday, and his daughter's getting married and excited, and his new son-in-law is going to dentist school in West Virginia. And just like yesterday, they bought the condo, and now they're selling it. It's just time is flying. Enjoy it. Spend time, and as always, we respect your time, and thank you for tuning into Real Estate with Ryan. We talked about our show. But as always, before we get going, we got some congrats, got some new listings. Things are very active in the real estate market. You saw the Feds the other day. Fed's going to do the same thing the Feds have always done for years. Nothing. Up, down, watching the market. Just turn off the TV. We're not going to watch anymore. We're going to see rates somewhere around 6.3. We may project those all the way through the end of the year between 6.3. That's where the market's going to be. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. It's go time. I had a great client potential client that's coming up, and they're doing a little open house this weekend, and if things don't work out, they're going to think about putting on the market and kind of getting some help. And we just talked about it, how time is flying, that the next 90 days really is crucial. And then we say April was a time to put homes on the market, but now is a time where kids are getting out of school, having that opportunity, and we got to relocate. People coming from out of state here, people moving local, switching school districts. So there's a lot of movement going on in the next 90 days. And I think you'll see that in the real estate sales in the market as a whole. So let's talk about a new listing that we got here recently. Congrats. Let's talk about Highland Reserve Way, new lot that we got coming out there. And then a beautiful lot in Kingston as well, almost 5 or 6 acres overlooking the whole city. Panoramic views. That property is coming just in a matter. We'll talk more about it next week, but building site already cleared out, electric. Make sure you check that property out. And a possible home has the opportunity for additional Airbnb or another investment property on it, or a family member. That would be really great. Congrats to our great builder out in Cherokee Orchard Road, 604 Cherokee Orchard Road in Gatlinburg, under contract. Excited for him. English Mountain Point Way, a nice, beautiful waterfront lot, under contract in White Pine. 104 Bufflehead Drive, Von Orr, Rarity Bay. Congrats. And then 8124 Becky Lane in Knoxville. Sweet, sweet seller. Sold their property, and it's an estate sale. And it was always emotional. And it was her dad's house, and it was tough. And she did a great job, and so we're just honored to be part of that and close that chapter and be involved in that process for her, and know it's always hard. So congrats to them. So that's what we got going on. As always, and if you're tuning into Real Estate with Ryan, you say, who's that guy on the radio? He's talking. What's going on? Well, my name is Ryan Coleman, owner, founder of Hometown Realty. And we bring you Real Estate with Ryan every Saturday. We're talking about real estate, what's going on. We get a little vol action. We give away tickets. We have fun. We talk about the East Tennessee housing market, how it's important, how it's changed over the last couple of years. And if you're catching us or hear us on podcasts, of course, we're on iTunes, Google, Spotify, you name it. We got some great partners, been with us for years. Appreciate the support. We got Talk Radio 92.3 FM. Every Saturday, 11 o'clock, you can hear us live on the radio there. Also streaming live on their Facebook channel. News Talk 98.7, 1 o'clock. Great partners. Appreciate the support. You can catch us there every Saturday. And in case you miss it, check us out on social media, YouTube, etc. We're always there for a rerun. So we're talking about stay or sell, making the right housing decision, Ryan, as you age. As understanding that topic today, it hits a lot of families across Knoxville and East Tennessee. Should you stay in your home? Should we move? What should we do? It's a hard decision. Homeowners are even asking these questions, and the question even sounds too big sometimes. Maybe it's maintenance. Is that what's bothering you? Are those things adding up? Or maybe sitting on a lot of equity. Today's financial market where everything's so expensive, is there a lot of equity and cash that just sitting there, that you got opportunities and moves that could do something different with it? We're seeing more homeowners than ever evaluate these decisions that we haven't seen in the past. So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about and break it all down. We'll talk about the pros and cons of staying and selling. We'll talk about that. Financial considerations to think about. Most people overlook it. We're going to talk about it. Warning signs that might be a time to move. Okay? And then how you make the right decision for you. We'll talk about that and so much more. Real estate with Ryan. Let's chat about that. That's a tough topic. And as I was saying for the beginning part of the show, no matter your age, when you're thinking 5 or 10 years out, that can hit us all. You start thinking about it, adding kids. And I was looking at that and I was like, well, my daughter's this age and in 10 years, and then my son will be this age. And Lord, honey, we'll be this age. You look at it and you think 10 years is around the corner. Could I stay here long term? Or would it make more sense to move? That's one of the things that we're looking at. It doesn't always show up, but small moments to think about. 90% USC, Davis School of Gertendology, if I'm even pronouncing that right. But don't know what they do there at USC. But they studied this with adults over 65 years of age. And they surveyed them and asked them, would they want to remain in their home or stay? And it's an overwhelming 90% said they wanted to stay in their home. So what do you need to know if you're going to stay in your home? Aging in place is definitely possible, but it's better than, but you got to have a plan. Got to have a plan. You got to talk about it. It's kind of tough. I remember my grandfather and grandparents, as they were getting older, and he's a little bit of the old school, and kind of like his home is the castle, if you remember that, and kind of this is my compound, kind of old school deal, but it's kind of cute in a way. But think of leaving his home or something like that. That was just not even an option. Assisted care, anything like that? No, that wasn't even an option. He said, "You'll carry me out in this home." So, a lot of people feel that way. I think maybe probably, I don't know if it's women or men. I know us men. I can speak for us men because I always talk about that in the house sometimes. And, I think I don't like change. I think a lot of men, maybe you guys out there on the radio can appreciate that. Men, we get into our spots. We get comfortable. We got routines. We know where things are at. We know our neighbors. It's a comfort level. And I don't like to change. Although my wife, she could care less. Move the house. I said, well, honey, this is where we, our first daughter was born, or, Isaac, he grew up. She said, I don't care. We can move the house. Let's move. She's very no attachment to the house. So, let me ask you, are you guys like that? How's your husband? How's your wife? Does he care? Is he ready to move? Or, these are good comments to have, but sometimes these things come into play and it's good to talk about them just to have a plan or have that opportunity. Sometimes small things creep up over time, and it's important to look at those. Sometimes these changes can be simple. You have some grab rails. Maybe you're going to have a bedroom downstairs that could be a master, and things could change. So these are things to look at that maybe you can change if for some reason, we looked at it. We've got steps. We're a 2-story, and we've got a bedroom down. It's not a master per se, but is there things we could do in time that if we did age to look at that and say, okay, we can make this a first floor master with a little bit of modifications and things like that. And so is that an opportunity? A lot of times as we're looking at properties now and we're looking at more homeowners that are aging in place, things to think about across the country, especially here in Knoxville, is that many homeowners have record equity levels. And those record equity levels where the market is still pretty strong, have an opportunity to cash out. But you can only do that by selling. So at the same time, cost and maintenance over the period of time are rising. What used to be small things, maintenance on a property, vinyl siding, washing, prepping, preparing the home, now becomes things that we defer. Not because we don't have the time, but sometimes we just don't have the energy. Look, we got a few minutes before we're coming up on Real Estate with Ryan break, and we'll be right back.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for coming on the second half. That first half goes so quick. Seems like talk a couple minutes and it's gone. But we're talking about aging, staying in place. Do you do that? Do you move? What's the opportunity there? And so let me get the exact segment for you. Stay or sell, right? Making the right housing decision as you age. And that's hard for all of us to talk about. That topic was a little hard. You start looking at it. That's what I was saying in the first segment. 10 years is a blink of an eye. I was talking to a great client yesterday, and it was like 10 years is just no time. And as we get older, it just seems like the days, the hours, especially if kiddos and life's so busy now, it just fly by. So I thought it was a good topic. Listen, we talk about the housing market across East Tennessee. We know a lot of people are relocating now. Everything's ultra expensive. Everything's so expensive, cost of everything. And there's a lot of things where a lot of homeowners have equity in their homes. And, for whatever reason, you think about it. I can't tell you how many times we went in our great client's house, walk through, do the tour, talk about the home. They said, Ryan, I'm in this room, I'm in that room, and I really don't use much of the house. So a lot of that is, does it make sense? And I think that is so important. As we were finishing over on the first half, we were talking about why some of these shifts are coming across. Maintenance and rising cost. Everything's so expensive. I can't tell you how many times we're at Home Depot on our properties. And then the cost. What you think would cost X, it's double, it's triple. Don't go to Home Depot or Lowe's. As you know, those costs are rising. Property taxes, just a matter of time. Sounds like that a lot of politics now coming into Knoxville, and we got a lot of people just want to keep taxing. Big government. Try to tell them we're not big government here, but you're seeing that. And insurance increasing. You pay that bill every year or monthly if it's in your mortgage payments. It doesn't matter. God forbid you have a claim like we did. They're going to up it 20, 30, 40%. Never had a claim 10 years? Oh, it's okay. We'll double your premium. How's that fair? Yeah, I don't know. But holding on to that house, does it fit your lifestyle? The case for staying. Let's talk about the case for staying. I told you in the beginning, us guys, it's an emotional attachment. You raised your family home. You would think it would be the ladies, but for me, maybe I'm just a big softy. I don't know. You guys, you tell me. I think it's guys just don't like change. We don't like a lot of movement. We're comfortable. We like our same hat, even if it's worn, our UT hat. It's like, God, get a new hat, bro. I'm just like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You see it. Stability. The routines. Your neighbors. You got rapport. If you need something, they know you. You know them. We've got a neighbor. Dog's always getting out, man. Always getting out. But we got good neighbors. My kids are bringing them back and making sure they're okay. I mean, goodness gracious. My kids take care of the neighbors' dogs better than me, man. They're watching out for those dogs, I tell you. And but you got good neighbors, man. They know each other. They text. My wife's, texting and say, hey, your dog's out. You need something. It's good to be there. It's hard to beat that because you move to a new neighborhood, you just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know. I've got great clients that are in Georgia, and they're so sweet. We've got a call scheduled for them today. But talking about that relocation, talking about real briefly about the emotional attachment and stability comes back to we moved them from Sweetwater to Georgia. Oh, and they're a beautiful home, love the floor plan. They don't love the neighbors. They don't love the HOA. And it's so bad that they're selling. They don't want to sell, but they're miserable, right? They're in that HOA. They're just not happy. And so it's time to move. And that's a great opportunity that it's not where you want to be. But I said, hey, we're still in a free country right now, right? We're still a free country. You can do that. And so I thought, we got to help it. So that's why a lot of people say, Ryan, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Financial comfort. Your home's paid off. Or you have, guess what, 2 or 3% interest rate. You know your monthly expenses. And you don't want to change. And you can't go wrong with that, right? You've worked all your life to be sound, solid, got your numbers where you want to move. And gosh, go out there, look in today's marketplace to even try to find something that even makes sense. I don't know. The hidden cost of staying, you have to weigh them in. You got to think about maintenance costs. We got roofs, $25,000, $30,000 in a roof. HVAC, there's another $10,000 or $15,000. These costs add up. Deferred maintenance, what you ignore today, becomes expensive tomorrow. Mobility challenges. Let me just tell you, I went through this little deal where I had pneumonia, I had the flu, and when I got home, I saw these stairs. I'm telling you, it was so bad I had to go down and climb down. It was that bad to walk. So you think about these things as you age and as your mobility changes, and what you played football in high school now gets up with your knees, and all those things come into play. Stairs, large lots, long driveways, large acreage now becomes obstacles. Think about that. Opportunity in the marketplace today can do a lot of different things. People are relocating that was rural, closer to friends. Now we need to be closer to doctors, family, friends. That is more important than living on 5 acres. You have to think about these things. All these things kind of come into play. Lifestyle simplification, smaller home, less maintenance, less stress. Maybe you can do a little more traveling or go visit the grandbabies and things that you didn't have opportunities to do. These are things that you must think of, no question. Safety and accessibility. As we get older, as we have opportunities in the marketplace, you know what? I don't want to live out here by myself. I want to live in a townhome. I want to live in a condo where we got secured access. We got a gated access. All these things are important. And you know what? I got family members. They're close by. They check on me. Or it's nice to go meet them, but I don't want to drive 45 minutes to see them. These things are important. How about you got young ones? And guess what? Your parents are helping. Do a little daycare, helping with the kids, but you're an hour away. Sometimes you got to make the move. You got to see what makes sense for the lifestyle. Less stress is important in today's market. Sounds it may be time to sell. We talked about using only parts of your house. If you never go to the basement or never go, to the upstairs, maybe time to downsize. All the extra taxes, expenses. Your monthly costs are adding up. Outrageous. We already know everybody's cost is adding up. But you start looking at it financially, maybe it's that time. You thought about moving more than once. You've looked online. You went onto the real estate sites. But it can be overwhelming thinking about moving. What a big decision to make. And especially if you're by yourself. Let's say if you're a widow. Doing all that by yourself says sometimes it's just easier to stay where you're at. Think about now, where are you going to see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Really look at your situation. Not that you have to move, but think about what you need to do. And do you see yourself living here in the next 5 or 10 years? Does my current home support that? How about equity and our monthly cost? Are these things that I need to think about as I'm moving and getting older down the road? How about the market now? It's good. Where is it going to be in 10 years? Just a roll of the dice. You never really know. For some, staying in the home is the right move right now. Selling opens the door for a better lifestyle. The key in today's market, and of course in any big decision, whether you're buying or selling or a big family move like this, is having the right information. Knowing your home value, knowing your options, and most importantly, have a team that can help you and walk you from start A to start B. We're always here to help you. It's it's never about sales or what we can do. Obviously, we're in sales, right? We do a service, we get paid, but it's about helping people. Our company's been founded going 26, 27 years. I can't even think. It's been a while. And, we've been successful in the business because I don't even think about it. We focus on people, which is kind of what I was raised, what we do. And, but you always, to be in life, to be successful, when you focus on others, it's going to all come back to you. And we really focus on that. So whether you're buying or selling, young, maybe you're going to grow your family, maybe you're aging, that house is just too much, or maybe you need to cash out and you don't need this big house. You've got opportunities there. We're always there for you. And I think getting out in front of this to have that conversation, you can call us at any time. It doesn't cost anything. And we love to give you the options so you have the right information. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. Really love spending time with you. Enjoy your May. Enjoy this weekend. If there's anything in the world we can do for you, we'll be right here. Look forward to seeing you back next weekend. Have an amazing weekend.